Finally, Democrats are fighting. Democratic members of Congress and senators are swarming into red districts and red states, and they are speaking to the constituents who have been abandoned by the MAGA Republican Congress members and senators who are too scared, too cowardly, who are in hiding, who do not want to answer questions from their constituents about the Trump regime destroying and dismantling the federal government, firing thousands of veterans and gutting the VA, calling Social Security a Ponzi scheme, targeting Medicaid with absolute destruction. The MAGA Republicans want to hide. And finally, the Democrats are doing what we said that they should do, which is go into these red districts, hold your own town halls, and speak to the people. Listen to the people. So we're seeing this, for example, in a ruby red area in California, Bakersfield, which is represented by a MAGA Republican Congress member there. How ruby red is Bakersfield? Well, I litigated a ton of cases early in my career in Bakersfield. It's ruby red, but let's just take a look at the data. So Trump beat Kamala Harris in that district, Kern County, 59% to 38% in 2024. And in the Senate race, where Democratic Senator Adam Schiff ended up winning, pretty big victory over the MAGA Republican candidate Steve Garvey. But in this specific district, Schiff lost to Garvey 61% to 38%. So I just want to give you a little bit more context of how ruby red it is. But bring in Democratic Congress member Ro Khanna. One of the things you need to know about Ro Khanna is he represents the Silicon Valley area in California, which actually has more billionaires than any congressional district in the United States. So he knows a thing or two about how billionaires act. But here's the thing about Congressmember Khanna. He's never compromised any of his values just because he represents the largest contingent of billionaires in the country. He's always been fighting for workers. He was the co-chair of Senator Bernie Sanders' presidential run. I mean, this is who Democratic Congressmember Ro Khanna has always been. So he goes into Bakersfield. Take a look at the packed crowd at this gym in Bakersfield. And here's what Democratic Congressmember Ro Khanna says. He goes, look, I represent more billionaires than anybody, and I'm saying they should be taxed more. I'm saying that we should have a fair tax system. I'm not afraid to speak up to the billionaires. So why the hell aren't other Republicans speaking up to them if I'm the one actually that represents their district? Watch this.
Look, I represent a district in Silicon Valley. You've probably heard of it, Apple, Google, NVIDIA, all those companies. Here's what I don't understand. I'm for taxing the billionaires more. There's no one in the 435 districts in America, no one has more billionaires than my district. If the guy who has all the billionaires can say tax them more, how is this a hard vote for the other 434 members of Congress? I don't get it. We need to tax the billionaires and the ultra wealthy to provide guaranteed healthcare, Medicare for all in this country, universal education, and to have fairness in America.
Powerful. It's hard to argue with that logic right there. Well, I think we know the answer, though, because these MAGA Republicans are cowardly and they kiss the ring when anybody throws money their way. They have no values. They stand for nothing, these MAGA Republicans, and they fall for everything, these MAGA Republicans. Here's another powerful moment from that speech by Democratic Congressmember Ro Khanna, a real superstar, I may add. Here he is in Bakersfield. Let's play it.
So what do we need? What am I going to do? Well, one, I'm going to stand up very clearly, whether it's popular or not, for our Constitution, for our First Amendment, and even for our immigrants having free speech and due process. I said, look, the First Amendment, if you read it, it doesn't say First Amendment applies to citizens. It says First Amendment applies to every person in the United States. And if we are indifferent when Donald Trump comes after the trans community, if we are indifferent when he comes after the LGBTQ community, if we are indifferent when he comes after the Venezuelan community, when he comes after the Muslim community, when he comes after women, then soon he will come after us. We need to stand for principle in this country.
Here he is calling out Musk, another powerful moment. Let's play it.
I said, Elon, if you're so convinced that you have good ideas, if you're so convinced that you are doing something efficient, why are you hiding from the American people? Come explain your ideas. You know, if you got some brilliant plan, come show it to the Congress. Why are you afraid of the Congress?
Here he is again talking about American power. He's like, if you want to talk about real American power, it's not by threatening to invade or annex Canada or Panama Canal or Greenland. He goes, it's about educating future generations. Look what they're doing in China. Don't you see why Xi Jinping is actually laughing at what Trump is doing? Because they're educating their youth, while here in America, Trump and his regime are gutting education and getting rid of the Department of Education. Play this clip.
If you just cared about American power, and I believe there's far more to care than just power. You have to care about justice and fairness. But if you just cared about power, the way you build America's strength in the 21st century is not by conquering Canada. It's not by conquering Panama. The Chinese are laughing at us. The way you build America's strength is by educating our young people. How this president thinks that the answer is to dismantle the Department of Education, it's not just morally wrong, it's moronic.
It's another powerful rallying call here by Democratic Congressmember Khanna. And he goes, look, let's talk about who the Democratic Party is, who we need to be. We need to get back to our roots. We're the party that got overtime pay. We're the party that got Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Watch this.
But here's what I will say about the Democratic Party. We are the party that got the 40-hour work week. We are the party that got overtime pay. We are the party that got Social Security. We are the party that got Medicare. We are the party that got Medicaid. We are the party that funded public schools. We are the party that fought and got civil rights and voting rights. We are the party that got the Immigration Reform Act of '65 so my parents could come here. We are the party of FDR and John F. Kennedy and Barack Obama. And if the party is letting us down, it's time to rebuild the party and understand what this party has achieved for America.
And then so who else was also giving great speeches in MAGA Republican areas? Well, a friend of the MeidasTouch podcast as well, just like Khanna is, Democratic Congressmember Eric Swalwell. So Swalwell went to Florida to Anna Paulina Luna's district. Now, she's kind of like a George Santos-ish kind of person there. Very like performative. Her name really isn't, I think, Anna Paulina Luna. She's like brought on multiple identities. I think she was like a swimsuit model, and she did all those like photos, like her rise to becoming a MAGA Republican politician. I think she did like bikini photos with like guns or something like that. Anyway, she's the one who's the subcommittee chair for releasing the Epstein files, which never get released. Although they did release parts of the JFK files that were already released in 2023, but they revealed people's social security numbers unlawfully. Anyway, Democratic Congressmember Eric Swalwell was in Anna Paulina's district, and here's what he had to say. Let's play it.
And a college coach would always tell me, every time we started a season, think about what you want the last game and the last moment of that game to feel like. And right now, for our democracy, we know what it felt like in November. So as we start this season of democracy that'll take us to November 4, 2026, today is about you thinking about what do you want that day to look like. To me, it's a day of celebration. It's a day of accountability. It's a day of redemption for our democracy. It's a day where we cut our time in hell in half by winning the midterms.
Yeah, a great moment there indeed. Let me just share with you this, another portion of this speech by Democratic Congressmember Eric Swalwell in that district, pushing back, fighting hard, again, in a ruby red district, although I don't think people in that district necessarily are too fond of Anna Paulina Luna. Here, play this clip.
And you're asking your leaders, well, if they're willing to be so violent for something they were brainwashed to believe, what are you willing to do? Let me tell you what I saw on January 6th. I saw police officers who weren't even supposed to be working that day rush to the Capitol, who voted for Donald Trump just a couple months before, and they put on body armor. They put on their gas masks. They were beaten with Confederate flags. They had bear mace put in their face, a cattle prod put in their neck, as rioters were armed to the teeth to try and take them out. And they stood up, and they showed bravery, and they defended the Capitol. They beat back those cowards. And we certified the election. And so what I'm telling you, as spring training for our democracy begins, for us to have the end of the game look like the celebration, accountability, redemption, rebirth we want it to look like, you don't have to put on the same body armor or same police equipment that Mike Fanone and Harry Dunn and Sergeant Gannell and Danny Hodges put on. You don't have to do that for your democracy. They did it for us. But if you show the same passion and vigor and integrity and love for our country that they showed that day, I promise you, we are winning and we are finding our way out of this hell. I'm all in. You're all in. Pinellas, we are sending her to Mount Rushmore. And we're going to get a real representative. Thank you so much, Pinellas County. Thank you, David Jolly. There you go. On your feet. Are you all in? Are you all in? They're all in, Jordy. Where's Luna?
I should mention about Khanna. He hit up 3 different cities, 3 different districts that were represented by MAGA Republican Congress members. And then you saw there Congressmember Swalwell. I'll show you this. Democratic Congress member Casar, superstar as well. I'm going to do a whole other video on him, highlighting. He went on Fox and just like really pushed back and fact-checked Fox to their face. It was awesome. But here he is talking about the his plan and the plan of other Democrats to go into these ruby red areas. And Democratic Congressmember Casar ended up being on the tour with AOC and Senator Sanders. It was what a tour that was. We've been live streaming all of that stuff as well. Here, play this clip.
That's not right. It's not right. They want to come after programs for working people. They get their $8 million a day while they try to cut food stamps for the working class. While Elon Musk makes his $8 million a day in government contracts, he's coming after your grandma's $65 a day. While Musk gets his $8 million a day, he's trying to shut down the Department of Education, trying to shut down the Department of Labor. Musk wants you to work more hours to make him more rich. Musk wants you to pay more taxes to make him more rich. Tucson, I've had enough of this. It's time to say, fire Elon Musk. Fire who? Fire who? Don't fire public school teachers. Fire who? Don't fire nurses. Fire who? Don't fire our veterans. Fire who? Fire who? What?
And here is Congressmember Casar at one of those events. Here he was in Tucson, Arizona, where there were about 25,000 people. Let's play it.
Before I let you go, we don't have that much time left, but tell us, you've been doing these rallies. What's next for the House Progressive Caucus?
Well, Jen, I'm happy that I can maybe make a little bit of news here on your show, because we have all of these progressive members of Congress that we are just about to fan out all across the country and go do town halls in Republican districts. House Speaker Mike Johnson told his Republican members of Congress, don't do town halls. So we're going to call it the Democrats Show Up campaign. And I'll be, I was invited to Chip Roy's district this coming weekend, and I'll be there. I don't know if Chip will be there, but I'm excited to talk to those voters. Whether we agree on everything or not doesn't matter, as much as showing up and letting them know we care about their pocketbook issues.
No question. Showing up, answering questions, being present. That's a big part of being a representative.
And finally, here is Democratic Senator Ossoff in red state, purplish state, but went red this year in Georgia. Again, speaking truth to power. Some incredible stuff right here. Watch it.
And see, this is why things don't work for ordinary people. It's not because of trans kids or woke college students. It's not. It's not because of our new arch enemy, Canada. The corruption is why you pay a fortune for prescriptions. The corruption is why your insurance claim keeps getting denied. The corruption is why hedge funds get to buy up all the houses in your neighborhood and Congress doesn't do anything about it. See, this is why so many have lost faith in our system. Because the system really is rigged. But Trump's not unrigging it. He's re-rigging it for himself.
This is what I've told you that I've wanted to see now for a very long time. It's great to see it. I've always said there's going to be a summer of democracy, or democracy summer, that's coming. Get ready for it. I feel the momentum rising right now. And look, since we've been able to build this platform with your help, I'm going to make sure we use this platform now that we're bigger than all the corporate news networks. We get more views than Fox, more podcast downloads than Rogan, a lot more views than MSNBC or CNN. We're going to use this platform in order to highlight these voices and do what media networks neglected to do in the past. That's part of our plan now. That, what's that line from that Captain Phillips? I'm the captain now. So we're going to highlight pro-democracy voices. Thanks for watching, and help us hit 5 million subscribers.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.